I earned my first €2 today busking for the first time. Now, I previously played 2 times just with the guitar on the street. Nobody listened and nobody stopped by. Nonetheless, I tried basically singing today for the first time. I did a couple of years ago play at a street festival, also cover songs mostly, but it turns out nobody listened. So this was the first time I played properly on the streets with singing. So in here I have my Ibanez guitar. Then on the outside I have a stand. This stand now is attached to this with a rubber band such that it does not get away. Then here I have a holder for my smartphone because I do not have a tablet. I do have a notebook, but I don't necessarily want to put a very valuable notebook on a stand like this and then maybe it falls over and then it's done. This is a risk I cannot really take. So I tried just with an app today. I do have a spare set of strings in here, and then my acoustic guitar is in here. In terms of the lyrics, I first, for the first time today, used a app called Ultimate Guitar. I previously already tried it a couple of times, and I actually have had it for years on my phone. But I got the update today, and it turns out it is now a little bit more useful. And because I now wanted to try this, and I wanted to try busking because I think I need to try busking because it's something that was in my mind now for years, but I always feared it and I never put together something. And so I did it for the first time today. I only played like 10 minutes in 1.5 songs. Nonetheless, in terms of putting together a playlist, I figured I would now use this. I also bought a subscription because there is a feature that is only available with the subscription, which is the auto scroll. So if we take a look at Wake Me Up from Avicii, then this is available. Then there are multiple different chords which are mostly uploaded by users. Then one can also favorite this, which then makes it appear in one's own songs, and one can also add it to a playlist. So today I created a couple of playlists. So these are chords. There are also tabs available, and I use the chords now. And then there is down here a feature which is scrolling. Now the scrolling has a set pace, and if one does not like the set speed or pace, in this case mostly speed I think, then one can increase or decrease it. Now there is also a function available where it takes the microphone input and then adjusts the speed accordingly, according to the guitar play. I tried this outdoors, basically on the streets, and it did not work. I tried it at home, and it did sometimes work, but sometimes it just stopped, and then I had to intervene. So currently, or today, I actually then scrolled with the thumb, and I just paused the song in between, which is not a very optimal solution. If I had a bigger screen, then I could have the same app. I would assume also on other Android tablets that this app would be something that is working on there. Now, in terms of the playlists, I know in the last couple of hours made a couple of playlists. So one, for example, would be Little Hearty, which is kind of hearty songs, one could say, that are kind of melancholic. And so I would have this song. So in the street, in the city I play, one can play for 30 minutes each. And so I put together a playlist of maybe 5 to 6 to 7 songs, or a couple of them. Sometimes I have a couple of more songs in them, such as In Dylan, Mary, and Garfunkel. And so these are these different songs. Now, if I play a couple of my own songs, I don't know. Probably I would pull up OneNote and then play my own songs from there. I don't know all of these songs from memory, so this was a problem I could not really solve. I did have printouts for the longest time, but these printouts need to be updated, and this was quite a huge time investment every time I did this. And then you have these things, and then you have only one folder, and then what happens if you, having it digital is the obvious solution, and so now this seems to be something that's fairly useful. This now is OneNote, and in OneNote I do have, let's just take a look at this song, which is one of mine. And so now here the scaling is kind of a problem. I do know the chords here, and I sometimes know the text, but not all of the text. So it is kind of useful that I can scale it up and down, and maybe, so I would only have to scroll like 2 or 3 times compared to the rest. And I also have cover songs in OneNote, which I more or less copy pasted and I formatted. So if one takes a look at Afterglow from Ed Sheeran, then one can see that there are chords in there. Now, this app here allows actually to scale the chords up and down, so one can adjust these, which is a very useful functionality. So it's kind of a lyrics or songbook, but it's kind of smart, one could say. So one can turn this into ukulele or even piano. Then one can simplify. I didn't test these. I just am taking a look at these right now. And one can also transpose, so up and down. One can also set a capodaster or capo. I don't know whether the English word is similar to the German one I just used. And then one can also pin chords, use flats and left-handed if one would like to, but I don't know what these would do. So there is also a get effects function, which then shows you, well, the effects you should put on for this, but since I'm playing acoustic, I don't really need this. Then there's also the intro often in these chords or lyrics, which is in the tab format and not in the chord format. So the normal lyrics I use are mostly the chords, and then I just sing whatever is written there. Now, if one is in a playlist, one can also then click on the next song here, which then would be useful. I already thought that maybe I'm using a mouse, an external mouse to scroll, but this will probably also not be the best idea. So maybe I will try tomorrow when I can sing here again, because it's currently night and I don't want to annoy my neighbors. I would maybe use this scrolling function, but then the problem is if this speed stays the same on all of the different songs, then I have to either play the song in exactly the speed, or I then have to increase or decrease depending on the song, and I have to memorize what speed, what song. So I don't really know what then I will do. But this idea that one has these songs, one has them saved, and one can put them into multiple playlists. Whereas if I have a printout, I can only have this one printout. And now if I want to have a different playlist, because I want to have different sets, then I would need to take this and put it into a different map or folder, and then it's obviously missing from here, or I get like 5 printouts of each song. But if I then have 5 printouts of each song and I do change, basically, let's say I want to scale it up or down. Basically, I want to transpose the song or now play it with a capo, then what do I do? So I don't know how well this will work, but it seems like this is kind of the early iteration of a solution for the problem that kind of, or at least one of the problems that helped me from busking on the streets and actually trying. I practiced so many years for exactly kind of this moment where I would play covers on the streets, and today I did it for the first time.